The saga with Karen and the HOA took an unexpectedly dramatic turn when they barred a veteran from immunizing my equines, triggering a cascade of consequences that would leave their operations in chaos. What they perceived as a minor regulatory enforcement quickly became a vivid demonstration of strategic authority, preparation, and the unintended consequences of arrogance. The morning began with routine veterinary care on the farm. My equines, numbering over 2,000, relied on precise immunization schedules to remain healthy and productive. The veteran assigned to the task was highly trained, experienced, and fully authorized to administer the necessary vaccinations. This was a critical component of farm operations and the well-being of the animals. Karen, true to form, arrived with her HOA entourage and attempted to assert authority by blocking the veteran from performing his duties. They claimed, without knowledge or legal standing, that the veteran was acting in violation of HOA regulations and local ordinances. Without hesitation, Karen dialed emergency, expecting immediate intervention that would enforce her will. Officers arrived, anticipating a minor property dispute. From the outset, however, it became clear that Karen's assumptions were entirely misplaced. The veteran's authority was fully documented, the immunizations were lawful, and any interference would constitute a direct violation of federal and local regulations. Karen's actions, driven by arrogance and ignorance, had set the stage for consequences she could not have foreseen. Recognizing the opportunity to respond strategically, I coordinated a precise response. By leveraging operational control of the farm, I orchestrated a massive movement of equines toward the HOA building at peak time. Within hours, thousands of horses, fully accounted for and guided by trained handlers, were positioned in and around the HOA's facility. The disruption was both immediate and unavoidable. Karen's attempt to assert authority by barring the veteran had backfired spectacularly, resulting in a logistical and operational crisis for the HOA. Karen's reaction was frantic. She dialed emergency repeatedly, shouted instructions to her staff, and attempted to regain control of the situation. Each effort was countered by careful planning and strategic foresight. The movement of the equines had been executed lawfully, safely, and deliberately, demonstrating that preparedness, legal authority, and operational mastery could decisively neutralize reckless interference. Throughout the day, the HOA scrambled to manage the situation. Staff were overwhelmed, operations disrupted, and public perception turned sharply against Karen and her association. Neighbors, local officials, and community members observed the unfolding events, noting the stark contrast between the chaotic, uninformed HOA and the calm, strategic execution of lawful authority on the farm. Karen's repeated misjudgments were now on full display. By afternoon, the equines had returned to their designated areas, operations were stabilized, and the veteran was able to complete his immunization schedule without further interference. Karen's repeated attempts at escalation had failed spectacularly, exposing both her ignorance and the limitations of her perceived authority. The HOA had suffered a tangible loss of credibility, operational control, and public respect. To ensure long-term deterrence, additional safeguards were implemented. Access points to veterinary areas were reinforced, surveillance increased, and operational protocols updated to reflect both legal authority and strategic oversight. Karen's repeated overreach had created a perfect example of the consequences of arrogance. Those who attempt to assert control without knowledge, preparation, or lawful standing face outcomes that are immediate, visible, and unavoidable. By evening, the farm was calm, the equines healthy and secure, and Karen had retreated, frustrated, and humiliated. The public lesson was clear. Arrogance and interference with lawful operations result in precise, unavoidable consequences. Strategic authority, preparation, and lawful action consistently prevail over ignorance, panic, and entitlement. By nightfall, the farm stood as a testament to careful planning, strategic foresight, and lawful authority. Karen's interference had failed spectacularly, leaving yet another chapter in the ongoing saga of strategy, law, and accountability. The lesson was unmistakable. Intrusion without preparation, authority, or knowledge brings consequences that are immediate, unavoidable, and public,